For a car manufacturer to make a car that's a little bit different is a pretty brave move, but it's not half as brave as the buyer is in buying that different car. This is the DS4 and it's certainly not the same as any car you're likely to find anytime soon. But is it any good? Let's find out.
Take a moment, enjoy the calm. You could be stuck on the N7 with two teething toddlers, but we don't do stress at the AA. We do roadside rescue, and our trained mechanics fix 8 out of 10 problems at the roadside. Buy online now at theAA.ie. Relax. Yellow and black have got your back.
I'd imagine that most of you at this stage know what DS is. If you don't, well, it's Citroen's very posh cousin. It's a Citroen with notions, if you like. But of late, they've been producing some really beautiful designs, and the DS4 is no exception. I mean, look at this thing. The detail on it is exquisite. Everything from this very detailed, very large, very prominent front grille to these elaborate LED lights. Really, the attention to detail is just superb. Now, it's not a car for the faint-hearted in terms of the design. Every single crease and every single angle on this has been really well thought out. But it is striking, and it is, for me anyway, one of the prettiest cars on the road at the moment. But it's not just the front end that has all of these great design features. These 19-inch alloy wheels are beautiful. But look at all these creases, all this chrome. The door handles come out to meet you when you have the key in your pocket. And details abound, including this very nice DS badge at the side. This is the E-Tense model, so your fuel cap filler is here. Your electric charging cap is on the other side. This side you have your charging point. It's only a Type 2, there is no fast charging on this, but it doesn't take too long on a wall box at home. In about 4 hours you have a full charge. In terms of luggage space, you do lose a little in the PHEV version, about 40 litres or so, but at 390 litres, this isn't bad at all. Let's take a look at the space. So I'm pretty tall, 6'2", so my driving position is seat all the way back now. Obviously I'm fine with my seat all the way back. Visibility is good all around. Let's see what happens when I get into the back. So then with the seat back the whole way, that's when I start to struggle. I can just about get in, but I wouldn't really be comfortable. And headroom is okay, but I really can't sit in the back with the seat back the whole way. Fine for kids, but not great for taller adults. It is the inside of the DS4 where things get really interesting. This is one of the most avant-garde, unique, stylish cabins you're going to come across in any car. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not. It's slightly fiddly and a bit frustrating in some areas as well. Now, you do have this beautiful finish, lovely felt finish to the dashboard. You've got this metal finish in the center console with some physical buttons which do various jobs, including demisting, but that's when it gets a little bit more complicated after that. So we have this touchpad here, which is just plain silly. It doesn't really work properly. It's used to cycle through menus and you can keep some of your favorites on the screen, but it also is used as sort of a trackpad so you can write in where you need to go in terms of directions. It just doesn't work very well, unfortunately, so that is a little bit maddening. When you do have your Apple CarPlay connected or your Android Auto, it works fairly fine, but otherwise the menu systems are just very strange. There's too many menus to get into the various climate control systems, too many menus to cycle through the various options, and it's just not a great system. It looks very good, but it just doesn't work very well, unfortunately. This DS4 is the E-Tense 225, and the clue then is in the title. It's got 225 horsepower thanks to a combination of a 1.6 litre petrol engine and a 12.4 kilowatt hour battery. So those combined will do a pretty decent job for you in terms of fuel economy, but like any plug-in hybrid, you really do need to make sure that the battery is charged as much as possible. The weather, as you can see, is pretty cold, so on a full battery I've been managing about 30 kilometers from a full charge, which is a little bit short of what DS would have claimed, but it's understandable in these conditions. It is very cold, and 30 kilometers is reasonable for some people. It will do the commutes around your town or drop the kids to school or go to the shops, but This will also perform quite well as a hybrid. So if you are using that battery in the electric motor to aid and assist the petrol engine, you will get decent fuel economy figures. When it doesn't perform so well is when the battery is empty, and that can happen obviously pretty quickly. Then suddenly you're driving a sort of underpowered car carrying around a big battery, and that's when the fuel economy isn't great. Small tank in this car, 4-litre tank, so it doesn't cost an awful lot of money to fill it up, but you do need to make sure that you have a charger at home to get the best out of it. But when you do, it's quite a fun car to drive. So we know the DS4 is a good looking car, but what's it like to drive? Well, for me, it is a nice combination of several things. It does feel like a luxury car in terms of the quality of the interior. The fit and finish is really good, and it doesn't feel like a smaller car. You know, we have to consider this is a rival to the likes of the Mercedes-Benz A-Class or BMW 1 Series more than anything bigger, even though it does look like a combination of a hatchback and a crossover. But overall, it just does feel like, I wouldn't say a hot hatch, I'd say more like a warm hatch. That 225 horsepower is lively enough when you drive it in sport mode. If you do pootle around town in EV mode, which you can do for certainly in the cold weather up to 30 kilometers, a bit more if the weather was a little bit warmer, it does feel like a smooth family car. It rides really well, obviously, because it's DS, who are distant cousins to Citroën, who do some of the best suspension layouts that you'll find in any car anywhere, and they tend to have some of the best ride and comfort levels you'll find in any car anywhere as well. So as a car to sit in from here, I like it. The head-up display that we have in this car is excellent, and after you get used to the layout of some of the buttons, which are slightly unusual in some areas, it is a pretty nice car to drive. Now, it's different, and that's the thing, and it goes back to the thing that we said at the start. If you want something different, if you want something that isn't run-of-the-mill, isn't the same old, then this is a very, very good option, a very good alternative to the standard stuff that you'll find from the German brands. This is totally different. And do you know what? You're not being asked to make the compromises that you would with DS previously. Previously, when DS came out, the stuff was a little bit rickety, not that nicely finished. It did look nice, but it was never up to the standard that would worry Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and the like. But now that's changed. This quality is excellent, but that's a testament to the jump in quality of the Stellantis group, really, where you're seeing Peugeot, Citroën, cars like that, brands like that, having just much better finishes throughout. I have grown to like this. There were some quirks in this car. I was driving it during the week and collecting one of my kids at the train station, and it decided to do a software update which totally immobilized the car for 20 minutes. I hadn't said yes, do it. It just decided on its own it was doing a software update, and I was parked quite awkwardly, couldn't start the car, couldn't lock the car, couldn't do anything until this software update conducted itself. So that was a bit of a drawback, and I was lucky that I wasn't sitting at a busy junction when that happened. So there might be some odd quirks along the way, but you know what? I think you know what you're signing up for when you get into a car like this and get into a brand like this. But overall, if you want something different, if you want something unique, if you want something that will perform well as a plug-in hybrid vehicle, if you know the rules of plug-in hybrid vehicles, make sure you have a charger, make sure you have access to a charger, keep it charged all the time, because otherwise you're just dragging around an empty battery. This DS4 E-Tense 225 Performance Line Plus is €52,500, which is a reasonable amount of money. It's not crazy these days compared to what you can get from other rivals, but would I have one? Personally, I'm not sure. I think its key rival comes from within its own family. Citroën C5X for me is a car that's similar, bigger, comes with a plug-in hybrid option, and has that sort of quirky French flair which the DS offers, but with a much bigger package, much more metal for the money. So while I like this car, I think it's a really nice approach to offering style and something different. I'd probably go for its cousin, the C5X.